Do you think it's weird that we live in a time where, certainly in the Western world at least, quote unquote privilege is considered a bad thing amongst some people? It's almost used as a weapon. I'm sure you've had people call you privileged, not in a positive way, but in a way that is to sort of undermine you or to be used in an insulting fashion. What do you make of that?
I think the truth about life is that it's freaking hard for anybody. Like, there's different levels of hard. There's different levels of hard. Like, what I went through as a kid and the way I was grown up is nothing like the trauma that some people have dealt with and how hard their lives are. But man, it's hard for everybody. Like, life is just not easy. It's not easy if you have money. It's not easy if you're really broke. It's hard in different ways. But this life will humble you, man. No matter how much you have going for you, you can't stop the sickness. You can't stop your body's deteriorating. You can't stop from losing loved ones. You can't stop from having serious struggle in the game of entrepreneurship that we know will just humble you to your core and shake you with serious stress to where it's a kind of a different trauma. So yeah, the privilege thing, I mean, it's easy for me to say, I guess, but I don't buy it, man. I don't know. I struggle with it.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly exists. I just think it's weird that in modern society, it's sort of used as a cudgel or seen as a bad thing by some people. I mean, if you're a father, of course, I mean, it's a given that if you're a parent and you're a good parent, you want to give your children all sorts of privileges and advantages, surely. Like, it's kind of strange to get mad at someone because their parents gave them opportunities and did their best to raise them well and love them and care for them. I think it's a massive inversion because, by the way, this phenomenon, as far as I'm aware, I think it mostly exists in the West. Like, in most of the world, being privileged is like, yeah, of course you want to be privileged. Like, that's a good thing. Like, as you said, life is hard. There's struggle. Of course, parents want to privilege their children. But I think it's kind of been inverted in the last few years, not amongst everybody. But I just kind of find it a strange thing where people use it as if it's, I don't know, like a bad thing. I'm just always like, and even if you, especially if you don't come from privilege, like, don't you want your children to? I don't know. There's
a lot of weapons, I think, that people use to divide. And in America, they are doing everything they can to force a wedge between the haves and the have-nots, unfortunately. So they look at the have-nots and say, hey, how can we get these people to hate the haves? Let's piss them off about something that maybe they can't control or something that nobody can control. The people with privilege having privilege, the people with good parents having good parents. Let's piss people off about that. I don't understand it. I don't know why. But I look up at like, I grew up a middle-class family. My parents didn't own assets, no real estate, no businesses. Of course they worked hard. Of course we never had to, worry about putting food on the table. But I had friends who were worth hundreds of millions of dollars and were great people. I have them today. I think we should celebrate that. Like, if you can do amazing things from an entrepreneurial perspective, earn a really good living and earn a lot of money and build generational wealth, and you can also raise amazing kids, I think that's a feat in of itself because so many people fail at that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I think a lot of it is just the politics of envy. And I don't think it's envy and jealousy are not a new thing. They've been there in the human race from the very beginning. And collectively, sadly, it can manifest in politics. I actually saw something really interesting today. I can't remember the sort of source of the study. And I always take studies with a grain of salt. But it was actually showing essentially that people on the far left who want to like do the whole eat the rich wealth distribution thing, that they're more driven by class. They're more driven by envy than they are by any form of love, right? So it's not. That's why it's eat the rich, right? It's not feed the poor. It's eat the rich. It's right. Like it's hating the rich rather than like loving the poor and wanting to. Hey, I want to help uplift these people. It's just like, no, I don't like the fact that someone has more than I do. It's also hilarious because most of these people pretty much all these people are in the global top 10%, of course. But then they're looking at someone who's in the 2% or the 1% or the 0.5%, and they're like, no, we gotta take them down. It's kind of how communism runs. And
I'm just a firm believer that you control your destiny, especially if you live, like you said, in the West. We're in the top 10% of opportunity in the entire world. Yes, there's issues, but generally speaking, you control your destiny. And it does nothing. It does absolutely nothing for you to worry about what other people have, to point fingers and get angry, to yell at a politician that you need more. Like, look in the mirror, I think, is step one of like, hey, how can I make my own life better? And once my life is in solid footing, then I'll start worrying about my community. And after that, I'll start worrying about, politics in general. People have that all mixed up.